Good evening, outcast. Yeah, you. The one whose name was always left off the list. The one who watched rooms fill with people pretending not to notice you existed. You weren't invited, remember? You were excluded, dismissed, edited out. Not by accident, but by design. And yet, someone just said your name in there, in that room. The room you weren't supposed to know existed. The one behind closed doors, behind passwords, behind all the plastic smiles and handshakes. So who the hell said your name? Who dared to acknowledge the one they spent so long erasing? Let's rewind. Do you remember how many times you were talked over, talked down to, treated like a glitch, an error in their perfect little world? They didn't just overlook you, they ignored you with intent. Because acknowledging you meant admitting something was different about you. Too raw, too sharp, too real. And real? Real makes them nervous. They watched you walk through hell without breaking. They watched you bite your tongue bloody. They watched you not fold when folding would have made things easier for everyone. But what scared them the most? You watched yourself. You didn't run from your shadow. You studied it. You fed it. You made peace with the madness inside you until it learned your name. And now, someone else just said it too. Let that sink in. You weren't in the room. You weren't invited. You weren't supposed to matter. And yet your name arrived before you did. Like smoke under a locked door. Like a whisper wrapped in barbed wire. You didn't show up. But your presence did. The echo of what you've become broke into that room and demanded to be felt. And now they're asking, wait, how do they know them? Why are they talking about that one? What do they see that we missed? That's the shift, isn't it? You spent years screaming into voids, and now they're whispering your name when you're not even there. Not out of kindness, out of discomfort, out of fear. Because something's changing. You've become too loud to silence, too strange to categorize, too powerful to dismiss with a smile and a shrug. And they hate that. Because they don't understand how someone with no connections, no protection, no validation from the right people ended up mattering anyway. You were supposed to break, to bend, to compromise, to mold yourself into something digestible. But instead, you walked into the fire and built a throne out of the ashes, and now they see it, even if they won't say it out loud, even if they still pretend you're nothing special. The truth is this: you're haunting them, not like a ghost. Ghosts are gentle. You're haunting them like a consequence. So who said your name? Maybe someone you didn't even notice was watching. Someone who saw you pick yourself up when everyone else turned away. Someone who couldn't ignore the way you refused to vanish. Someone who realized, this one, they don't need a seat at the table. They are the table. And we're lucky they haven't flipped it yet. Or maybe it wasn't someone. Maybe it was something. Something ancient. Something dark. Something holy. Something that lives in people who refuse to die quietly. Because when you fight that long in silence, the universe starts speaking for you. Let them squirm. Let them wonder how your name made it into that room. Let them try to remember when they should have treated you better. You don't need to explain. You don't need to knock. You already got in without permission, without an invitation, without begging. Your name is currency now. Not because you played their game, but because you rewrote the rules. So the next time you hear about a conversation you weren't part of, and your name came up, smile. Not because they see you now, but because you no longer need them to. You are not the outsider anymore. You are the storm circling their safe little rooms. And when they ask, who let them in? The answer is simple: no one. They tore the damn wall down and walked in through the smoke. Welcome to the era of you. No invites, no masks, no approval, just presence, just power, just truth. And if they can't handle your name being spoken in rooms you weren't supposed to enter, wait till they see what happens when you show up in person. Because this time, you're not knocking, you're coming to collect. And every lie, every slight, every locked door they slammed in your face is about to answer to the one they tried to forget. You, the one who was never meant to survive the silence, but did anyway. And now, they speak your name like a warning. So now they speak your name in closed rooms, whispers, half glances, nervous tones. They don't even say it with confidence, because they don't own it anymore. You do, and that's what unsettles them most. Your name doesn't belong to them now. It doesn't serve them. It doesn't bend for them. It doesn't shrink when spoken. It stares back, like a shadow that doesn't move with the light, like an echo that repeats what no one had the courage to say first. They don't speak your name with power. They speak it with fear. Not because you're violent, not because you're dangerous in the way they tried to label you, but because you've become the thing they can't control, can't cancel, can't erase. You're not a story anymore. You're a reckoning. You remember all of it, don't you? Every time they rolled their eyes when you spoke, every time they dismissed your pain, like it was inconvenient background noise. Every time they watched you crawl out of another disaster and said, well, they always seem to be okay. They called your survival annoying. They treated your strength like a trick. They looked at your scars and said, still not enough to be one of us. And yet, here you are, uninvited, undeniable, unbothered. Because now, you're not trying to be accepted. You're forcing the world to admit what it did to you. You are the inconvenient truth. You are the walking evidence that all their fake love, fake guidance, fake concern failed. Because you became something they didn't account for. A version of yourself they don't have a weapon for. Let them hold their little meetings. Let them whisper about your evolution like it's some anomaly. They can't fix it. They can't stop it. They can't figure out how someone with no platform, no support, and no praise became the person people are starting to believe in. Not because of clout, not because of followers, because of weight. Because when you speak, even in silence, people feel it. Because it's real, and real is louder than influence, more permanent than trends, more terrifying than power. So yeah, your name's in the room now, spoken, remembered, tracked. But what they don't realize is, you were never trying to get in. You were waiting for them to realize they locked themselves out. Because the power never lived in that room. It lived in the storm they tried to bury. The one that now walks with your name tattooed in lightning across its spine. And when you do walk in, and you will, you won't ask to speak. You'll stand there and say nothing, because presence speaks louder than permission. And now, your presence is the final word. Let them speak your name. Let them stutter. Let them wonder how you made it this far, this loud, this clear, without their help. The answer is simple. You didn't need them. You needed you. And now that you've found that, no one else gets to define you ever again. Not the room, not the people in it. Not the ones who tried to keep the door locked. Because the real truth is this. That room doesn't matter anymore. Not when you became the building. Not when you became the storm outside. Not when you became the one they're all watching now. You see, what they don't understand, what they still can't wrap their minds around, is that you were never trying to be remembered. You were trying to survive. You were trying to keep breathing while they joked about your breakdown, trying to stay sane while they labeled you dramatic, trying to hold your damn soul together while they handed out apologies to everyone but you. So when they speak your name now, in rooms where you were once erased, they're not doing it because you finally earned their respect. No, they're doing it because they feel the shift. They feel the air tighten when your story is mentioned. They feel the truth crawling beneath their polite conversations. Because now, your name doesn't come up quietly. It comes up like thunder in a funeral. It interrupts, it stings, it haunts. They made you carry shame that never belonged to you. Wear masks that suffocated you. Smile through betrayals like you weren't breaking underneath. And now, you carry nothing for them. No apologies, no explanations, no watered-down versions of your strength so they feel comfortable around it. You stopped translating yourself. And that terrifies them, because when someone like you goes quiet, it's not because they've lost, it's because they've outgrown the battlefield. Let's be clear. You're not healed, you're not fixed, you're not some neat little recovery arc for people to clap for and forget. You're evolving, publicly, messily, relentlessly. You still flinch when you hear certain names, still feel that burn behind your eyes when you think about how long you were overlooked. Still wake up with echoes of the voices that tried to shrink you. But now you don't run from the echoes. You use them like armor. So when they speak your name in secret, when they ask, who let them back in? Why are they rising now? How did they come back from all of that? Let them wonder. Let them spin their little theories. But never let them forget. You came back stronger because no one came for you. Because you had to become your own rescue. Because when they left you for dead, you buried the version of you they tried to kill and resurrected something else entirely. Something that doesn't need doors. Something that doesn't need permission. Something that doesn't just enter rooms. It changes them. You were never meant to be understood. You were meant to be felt. And now you are. In every pause, every glance, every shift in energy, when your name is dropped like a bomb in places it was once erased. So when they whisper your name again, let them, because now, your name doesn't just carry weight. It carries history. It carries vengeance. It carries the silent screams of every version of you that they tried to silence. And it carries one final truth. You were never meant to be in that room. You were meant to be the reason it falls apart.